the whole point of dance theater was to give the art to the community and to people who normally could not afford to go see them. And we feel until we build a constituency that is necessary to get the government support, it is up to the artists to go out into the community, share their craft, enlighten people, and have them then come into the theater.
So this project that we're undertaking really is inspired by the Mellon Foundation grant at University of Utah and Kimberly Crenshaw's idea of intersectionality. Our work really takes into account the various ways that race and gender and performance embodiments interact. So it is dance history at the same time that it's Black studies, at the same time that we are looking at Harlem histories and studies. So we are intersectional from the very beginning, and we've done our work in that way as well.
Our gathering in Atlanta helped us share smiles, meet senior artists who had told us so many things through their performances and now have things to tell us about how they are moving in the world and how their movements help change things for Black people and those who care about us.
We're not in the books, and that doesn't make sense. There was a book that came out of an author that I won't remain nameless that made the bestseller list talking about ballet in New York in the 70s and 80s and didn't even mention the Dance Theatre of Harlem. That has to be corrected. And so that's why Kim and I have been talking about this for a very long time, and that's why we decided that we were going to take on this endeavor.
It is fitting and ordained by the ancestors that as we plan to have a colloquium to discuss the direction of this anthology, we could gather at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta this past September, since Dance Theatre of Harlem was founded in 1969 after Dr. King's assassination.
It's been really important for us to meet together on Zoom and have conversations, but also to meet together in person.
I'm writing a chapter on Black excellence and the commons of color, and what I want to try to help establish for a reading audience is the ways that our shared interest in ballet has to do with expanding, maybe one way to think of it is expanding our commons. So we know we can line dance, we know that. We know we can praise dance, we know that, it's important to us. We also need to know that we can ballet. So ballet is a verb, as part of a commons for Black people, becomes another way that we find self-expression and self-mobilization through the arts.
My chapter is on Creole Giselle, which is a dissertation that I started and was not able to finish. But when talking about Giselle, the things that are really important to me are for people to understand that everything Mr. Mitchell did was purposeful. And it was clearly African-American centered. I'm looking at how he reconceptualized Giselle. And I'm really making the point that reconceptualization is really different from repositioning.
My topic is Dance Theatre of Harlem's 1988 tour to the Soviet Union. My first thought was to talk about our experiences there and the uniqueness of a dance company at that time going to the Soviet Union during the Reagan-Gorbachev era, and what that meant and why we were selected. And then as I've been doing a little bit more of the research, it's also now starting to include more about the significance of Blacks in Russia and how long they have been there and the areas that they have lived and the minstrelsy shows that have come through. So also kind of looking at the Black artists that have always had some kind of presence in Russia, and it was not an oddity for this. Right, okay.
I am probably one of few who, I was a student. I was a company member. I was the director of the school. I was co-director of the community and outreach program. So there are so many layers to how I existed in that space. And all of that, as I believe Christine said, was very intentional, I believe, by Arthur Mitchell. He was the sower of seeds. It was not just in the people that he fed into, it was also the curriculum and the culture and making us into leaders and activists and artists. My chapter will look at how DTH has impacted or Arthur Mitchell has impacted all of these areas of dance.
Thank you for coming to Arthur Mitchell's Love Letter, Dance Theatre of Harlem and its Legacies. How did Arthur Mitchell build DTH into a Black ballet company as a community organization with far-reaching impact? He brought together all he learned about ballet technique and the artistry, musicality, style, dimensionality, and commitment to community of his African American roots. Arthur Mitchell said, quote, "When I started DTH, there was this fallacy that Black people could not dance ballet. People said to me, 'Arthur, you're an exception.' No," I said, "I had the opportunity." And he provided that for many. Mitchell and DTH embodied this art form and brought unique contributions to the American ballet that were seen throughout the world from an African American centered perspective of lived community. The present American ballet world would be significantly different if he had not taken this journey and provided opportunities for many others, including us.
Now, the title, the working title of my chapter is How to Do Things with a Building. 466 West 152nd Street as a Black Freedom Performative. The chapter is a braided offering. It includes strands of personal memoir, strands of history of the permanent home of the Dance Theatre of Harlem and its important dance histories, as well as histories and geographies of the land, the city, the neighborhood that is Harlem. So with my title, I'm engaging speech act theory, as you hear. Dance Theatre of Harlem building and its inside community and its outside community, because it is a broad community. Each day, each year, each decade of its existence is the daily performance of Black freedom practices.
My chapter is called Ballet as a Technology for Black Futurity. I learned there at Dance Theatre of Harlem that there was no simple essential attribute to Black femininity in ballet. However, there is a distinct discouraging experiences that Black plus feminine plus ballet had been passed to people through the social and cultural cultivations of geographies in Anglo-American spaces.
The real reason that Arthur Mitchell and Carl Shook founded Dance Theatre of Harlem was to be an agent of change, to affect change in the Harlem community. The men in the company not only changed perceptions about who could do ballet, making it more inclusive and broadening its reach and influence around the world, they also showed how it could be used to change communities and change lives.
I think I've had enough time to reflect on the DTH experience and how meaningful it was, what we gained and acquired in this unique, as Christina said, dance community, creating an environment in which we all were able to thrive under many different circumstances, not all good and certainly not all bad. But what we acquired in the studio and in the rehearsal and on the tours are skills that have been so transferable for most of us in our lives, whether we continued as dance educators or entered other fields. So I think the anthology will show the reader what dance can do to transform one's life And by looking at the different experiences that are presented in the anthology, they will learn sort of firsthand what it was like to be a member of an incredible vision.
The Dance Theatre of Harlem anthology is going to help us better understand how Arthur Mitchell's vision fit into a moving structure of Black creative life, which is Harlem. And this project helps us imagine together forward towards Black excellence and Black joy. And we are thrilled to be entangled with each other, telling stories about the very necessary Dance Theatre of Harlem.